Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, broadcasting live to you from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And I would try my level best to answer your questions, so if you have any, please call, as you will see the numbers displayed at the bottom of the screen. And until we receive your first call, Brother Tayyib says, are we allowed to visit our family graves and pray for them? In the beginning, the Prophet ﷺ forbade Muslims, males and females, from visiting the graves. And then this was abrogated. Later on, the Prophet said, ﷺ, I, in the past, forbade you from visiting the graves. Now, I instruct you to visit them, because they remind you of the hereafter. Therefore, this rule applies for male, and they are allowed to go and visit the graves and to pray for their loved ones, for the deceased, for the people buried there among the Muslims, not to pray for themselves, not to go to the grave and think that it is a location of answering supplications. So they go, oh Allah forgive me, oh Allah pay off my debts. No, you pray for the deceased, and you go to the graveyards and see all those who have been buried there, and you remember how influential they were, how rich, how healthy, how strong. And then you come to realize that this is your inevitable end. So it reminds you of the hereafter. And whenever you frequently visit graves for this purpose, you always come out of a cemetery looking at the world as so negligible. It's nothing. This is what we're fighting for. At the end of the day, I'm going to be buried 6 feet under, and all what I'll find there is my good deeds, and unfortunately also my bad deeds. So a proper Muslim should not be deceived by this world. Now, females are not permitted, and this is the most authentic opinion of scholars, that they're not permitted to visit cemeteries. And the Prophet has cursed those who frequently do this, so they should refrain from doing that. From Peggy, a question is it allowed to give money to the beggars, regardless of the fact whether legitimate or professional beggars? I have a weakness. I cannot say no to anyone asking me. Please advise me. Thank you a lot. First of all, generosity is a characteristic of a Muslim. And the most generous person on earth was the Prophet ﷺ. He never ever said no to anyone asking him, even if he had need for that. And also Allah Azza wa Jal has praised and complimented the Ansar in the Quran when He said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, in Surah Al-Hashr, that they prefer others with what they have, though they have need for it. Yet they give priority to others and they help others over themselves. So this is a sign of great and good iman. Now, for you as a person, when someone comes and begs you, if you do this because you are ashamed or you are shy of this person, so you give him money for his continuous demand, this is not for the sake of Allah. But if you do this for the sake of Allah, which so happens that it is your character to be generous and giving, but it is for the sake of Allah, then whether they're legitimate or professional beggars, those who are not in need, but they're doing it just to make money, inshallah, you are rewarded for that. Husseini from Qatar. Yes, my friend.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Captain, I want to ask, I have a sister.
Mm-hmm.
She's not yet married,
Okay.
and she's pregnant with someone.
Which is
So,
what?
Yeah, she's pregnant with someone.
Okay.
And it's kind of difficult. I try many times for them to get married. The husband is trying it, like, it's difficult for the husband to pay his dowry. Is it okay for me to give the husband the money so that he can buy whatever my sister wants as a dowry?
But,
is it okay or is it not okay?
But they're not married at the moment.
They are not married, and they are living illegal.
Okay. So you want to give the
Yeah,
husband, the
married.
boy.
They are not married, but they stay together. I'm very far away from them, so I cannot do anything.
You want to give the
advise
dowry.
them from the phone.
You want to give the dowry to the man, to the boy.
Like to support them, so that contribute, give them money, so that they can.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
And the husband also is not a good Muslim at the same time.
Okay.
So how can we do about it? What can I do?
Okay. Any more questions, Hussein?
No, no more questions. No more
Okay,
questions.
I will answer you, inshallah.
Thank you so
Alaikum
much.
salam. Brother Husseini from Qatar has a question, and it is unfortunate. He says he has a sister who is pregnant out of fornication, out of wedlock. And she's not married, and she's still living with her boyfriend. So he would like to make this act legitimate and help them to get married. Is this permissible or not? First of all, it is not a one-size-fits-all. So we can't say, yes, it's a good thing, marriage is a good thing, go ahead. Because it may only increase in the fitna and in the trouble. Now, being in a relationship, if they get married now, the marriage is void. Because one of the conditions of marriage is that she is not in a relationship, she doesn't have a boyfriend, and her womb is not occupied. Now, her womb is occupied with a legitimate child. And once the child is born, he is not attributed to the biological father, because he is not the result of a proper marriage. He's a result of wedlock. So it's a complicated issue. If, and this is a big if, providing that they both repent to Allah Azza wa Jal, and they go back to Him, and they start practicing, and they become good Muslims, yes, you may help them to get married after all these conditions have been fulfilled. Otherwise, they're living in haram. Whether they get married or not, it's still the same forbidden relationship. And may Allah make it easy. It's a disaster to a family. I could only imagine what the father would feel to find his loved one, his child, being such a bad Muslim and living in such bad circumstances. It tears the mother's heart to know that her flesh and blood is involved in such filth and in such fornication that Allah made it one of the major sins in Islam. Yes, this is probably because they're living in a society that accepts this, a society that is degenerated, a society that allows a relationship between males and females, males and males, females and females, and make all of this as privacy and private matters of the individuals. Such filth, unfortunately, is dominating in these beautiful countries that a lot of the Muslims want to migrate and to live in. And alhamdulillah, we don't face this because we live in a Muslim country, we live in the Arab countries, we live in a society that believes in the Quran and the Sunnah, and that's what binds us and helps us and protects us with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. Question number 3 is from Muhammad Sharif. He says, I have doubt regarding the iOS and Android voice over IP applications which are popular nowadays. When we install it in our smartphone, we receive a free credit of few dollars, and the credit gets added when we give invitation to others and they accept it. By repeatedly doing so, our balance will keep on increasing, and once we reach certain free credit, they will give us a bonus of few dollars, much more than the previous ones, as a free. Is this allowed? First of all, as long as you did not put money into it. So you're simply marketing these voice over IP applications. So I tell you about this app and you say, oh, that's nice, I'm going to install it, and it doesn't require him money to install it. Because usually they're making their... okay, I'll get back to this question, inshallah. We have a caller from Scotland. Sheikh? Safe.
Yeah, hi. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam rahmatullah. Hayyak Allah, akhi.
Yeah, how are you, brother?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah. I've got 3 questions for you
Inshallah.
today.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first question is, my wife is pregnant and she will be delivering a baby maybe inshallah next couple of weeks.
Inshallah.
So is there any supplications in the time of labor where I can utter while she is in that particular situation?
Okay.
And my second question is, could you please mention those sunnahs to be followed like after the childbirth? Like I know there are a couple of 4 to 5 to 6 of them. So if you could just share a light on it, it would be nice.
Okay.
Our third question is, it's about Akika, the ritual slaughter after childbirth. So the idea which I have is like if it's a girl, then it's 1 goat, and if it's a boy, it's two goats. That's what I did for my son.
Okay.
So there are some people I come across because I actually originate from India, and I've met a lot of people, and they always argue like you can slaughter a cow or an ox because it's just you have to donate, so it's not necessary you have to do that. So please could you just give me like the actual evidence of that sunnah, please?
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, akhi. Hayyak Allah. Coming back to Brother Muhammad Sharif's question. So if you're inviting people to using an application, and by inviting them, you're not putting money, and they're not putting money to get this application. They make the money out of advertisement, most likely. Probably in a year or 2, they're going to charge people money for it once they get used to it. But meanwhile, to invite people and to advertise to people to join or to download this app, and you get credit for that, there is nothing wrong, inshallah, in that. Brother Saif from Scotland had 3 questions. His wife is pregnant and she's due in 2 weeks. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant him a righteous and practicing and healthy child that would be an imam of Islam and the Muslims. And he says, what should I supplicate while in labor? Well, there isn't anything specific. So you can praise Allah Azza wa Jal, offer salutation to the Prophet ﷺ, and ask Allah to make it easy and to make it painless as much as possible, and to grant you a righteous and healthy child. As the sky is the limit. There is no specific dua for that situation. As for some of the sunan after labor, or after giving birth, we know that there is, first of all, what is known as tahniq. And a tahniq is a sunnah where the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, as soon as the child was born, they used to bring him the child, and he used to chew a very small bit of date until it's so soft and so tiny, and then he puts it in the ceiling of the child. And he would laugh, alayhi salatu wasalam, when he sees the child that was born a few minutes ago doing, sucking it and swallowing it, and he says, subhanallah, the Ansar love the dates. So this is one of the sunnah, but it has to be really tiny, and it has to be chewed really, really well so it would not choke the child. Some scholars say that this is only for the Prophet ﷺ, as we're seeking barakah out of it. Others say, no, it is not for seeking barakah. It is something that the Prophet used to do, so it is encouraged for us to do it, and Allah knows best. Also, on the 7th day, for the boy, it is highly recommended to follow these sunnahs, to circumcise the child, to shave the head of both the boy and the girl. Though a lot of the scholars say the shaving is only for the boy, but the description mentioned in the hadith, that is, remove this harmful thing, al-adha, from his head. And scholars say that it's called adha, it's called harmful, because they are the things, the stuff that the child came out from his mother's womb. So this, the boy and the girl, share the same harmful thing. So shaving it is good for the scalp, and it's good for the head, inshallah. And also the sunnah is to take this shaved hair and weigh it with silver. So if it's like 3 grams of silver, what's the equivalent of 3 grams in silver in riyals and euros and dollars, and give it for charity. And to circumcise the baby boy. This is the sunnah, some of the sunnahs, of course, and to slaughter on the 7th day 1 ram, as he mentioned, Brother Saif, for a female baby girl, and 2 rams for a male baby boy. This is the sunnah. As for his third question regarding slaughtering a cow or an ox or a bull or whatever, this is 7 times equivalent to a sheep. So 7 sheep are equivalent to slaughtering 1 cow. So if you have like twins and they're boys, this is 4. And your neighbor has 3 triplets, this is 7. So you all can share in 1 cow, and this does the job, inshallah. Amina from Saudi Arabia.
Yes, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is about this. I have a non-Muslim babysitter who once ate pork inside my house. What is the ruling of Islam in cleaning the glass, plate, spoon and fork that she used in the lavatory where she used the dishes?
Who uses the dishes?
My non-Muslim babysitter, she ate pork in my house.
What is it? A baby sheep?
Babysitter.
A babysitter?
Yes,
and she's
a Christian.
Okay, okay.
And she ate pork inside my house.
Okay.
And my question is, what is the ruling of Islam in cleaning all the utensils that she used and the lavatory where she washed the dishes?
Okay, I will inshallah answer your question.
Thank you, Shaykh.
You're welcome. Okay, Amina's question is very straightforward. She has a Christian babysitter, and she's asking about her purity. So what about the dishes she eats in? What about the clothes she touches? What about when she uses the toilets? Does she have to clean it 7 times and wash it once with dust or soil? Or no, she doesn't. She's a human being. Whether she's a Christian or a Buddhist or a Hindu, she is a human being. She is like any other human being. Her sweat is like our sweat. What she touches is like what we touch, and there is nothing for you to fear. But I would advise you to take a Muslim babysitter, because even if she's the kindest and the most nicest person on earth, she would definitely influence your child by or with her religion. So she maybe would sing to the child that Christ love you. And she said he's got the whole world in his hand. And the child would be brought up on such things that are not related to Islam. So it's highly recommended that you choose a Muslim instead. Salah from Sudan.
Hello?
Yes, Salah.
I am 40 years old.
Okay.
I am an engineer.
Okay.
I have a problem, really. You cannot imagine. I have so many difficulties with prayer.
Okay.
I can't pray at all. I think the problem comes from somebody called Sheikh. Read Quran for me, and the jinn says that I have a problem with somebody make me something done by magic, called
Okay.
to prevent me from reading, from become a good. I am an engineer. Alhamdulillah, I thank Allah that I passed the examination to enter in the university, and now I completed my university education as an engineer, but it's now difficult to live a normal life. I'm finding everything difficult.
I will answer your question.
Also the prayer also become for me very difficult, really.
Okay.
What I can do, I couldn't pray really. I need to pray.
I will answer your question, inshallah, Salah.
Is it come Is it come from sihr? Is it come from magic, done by magic, or is it normal for every person? Yeah.
I will answer your question, Salah.
Thank
Inshallah.
you.
You're welcome. Akhi. Ranida from Qatar.
Yes.
Yes, my sister. What can I do for you?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yes. I need to ask something like before. I took a study loan,
Okay.
and at that moment I was not aware of the major things of the riba, the interest that goes along with it.
Okay.
So after Alhamdulillah becoming a practicing Muslim, I know that interest is haram, and I keep on paying the study loan. But and I repent to Allah. But what can I do about the interest? Should I only pay my study loan and leave the interest, or how it's a government loan?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And my second question about niqab for women, is it obligatory?
Okay. I will answer your question.
And that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Abdul Kareem from Saudi. Abdul Kareem.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, Sheikh, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first one is, are we supposed to pray 2 rakahs of nafil before leaving for Umrah, but after like putting on our ihram? And the second question is, when exactly should the niyyah for ihram, for Umrah be done?
Okay.
And the third one is it true that we have to read the salam, that is the Durud Ibrahim, which we say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa salli ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim, before making du'as, like in the beginning and in the end of the dua?
Okay.
And the fourth one is, can we pray other du'as apart from the qunut in witr? Like making our own du'as, even in our own language as well.
Okay.
That's it.
I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay. Amina from Saudi Arabia, we've answered her question regarding the Christian babysitter. Salah from Sudan, he's 40 years of age, and he suffers from, he's an engineer, he graduated recently, and he suffers from an OCD that prevents him from praying. He wants to pray, but he cannot pray. And he says this might be due to one of the sheikh or the soothsayers or the sorcerers casting a spell on him. Maybe it's magic, maybe it's evil eye. And he wants to pray. Akhi, focus with me. Everything in this life is in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jal. Correct or wrong? This is definitely correct. If you say wrong, you're kafir. Can anything happen without the will of Allah Azza wa Jal? And the answer is no. Everything happens with the will of Allah. So whatever Allah wills happens. Therefore, your only solution to any problem, especially such a problem you're facing, is by turning to Allah. Who's stronger, the sorcerer or Allah? Who's stronger, the devil, the shaitan, who's whispering in your ears or preventing you from praying, or Allah? Definitely Allah is. Thirdly, a lot of the problems we face, it is us who are doing these problems and creating them and putting the obstacles and hurdles in front of us. So I see a brother who doesn't work for 10 years. Why aren't you working? Akhi, there is no job opportunity for me. I'm too old. I'm 30 years of age and no one wants to recruit me. I've offered 6 or 7 interviews and they're all rejected. So I gave up. So it's not anything external. It's internal. It's you who's making these hurdles. You've stopped. You have to keep on knocking on doors, praying to Allah Azza wa Jal before all of that and trusting Him. And then you will find eventually a door opening for you. But if you sit on your backside and you just hope that the heavens rain gold on you, nothing would happen and you'll die in your place. So, if you feel that you want to pray, trust Allah. Invoke Allah. Make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. Oh Allah, no one can save me except you. No one can give me the power to move from A to B except you. No one can give me encouragement and making me successful in praying except you. So here I am invoking you, and here I am going to pray. And by Allah, you will pray. Nothing will stop you. Offer ruqya as much as possible in the morning, in the afternoon, and before you go to bed. Do ruqya on Zamzam water if possible. If not, do ruqya on normal water. And drink as much as you can from this water and wash yourself with it as often as you can. And inshallah, you will be cured in less than few days. And I mean few days, if not immediately. Recite the Fatiha 7 times and blow every time on this water. Recite the 2 verses of the end of Surah Al-Baqarah. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. Recite Ayat Al-Kursi. Recite the last 3 chapters of the Quran. قل هو الله أحد قل أعوذ بفلق قل أعوذ بالناس. 7 times each, and blow on this water and drink from it. And whenever it's finished, recite again and again and again, and inshallah you will have no problems. And give me a call and tell me, alhamdulillah, that things are much better now. Ranida from Qatar, she says that she had a student loan. Of course, student loans are prohibited. Whether you're in the UK, whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in the US, any loan that is interest-based is haram. One would say, okay, what to do? If I don't get a student loan, I would not go to the university. Don't go to the university. If they make a condition that they have to have sex with you in order to be admitted to the university, would you accept that? He said, no, definitely not. Well, the Prophet ﷺ said 1 dirham of riba is worse than 36 fornications. 1 dirham, which is negligible, like half a quarter of a dollar. So what are you talking about? This is a major sin. Trust Allah Azza wa Jal. Not everyone who graduates from universities get a job. So many people with a high school degree are wealthy and running a successful life. So be careful. Now, she says that I've already taken this loan and now I'm paying it back, but there are interests. What to do? If you can evade the interest, if you cannot pay it and nothing happens to you, don't pay it. But most likely, something would happen to you. The government will be on your back, on your case, and they will definitely sue you, and they will incur more and more interest on you. So in this case, because you took it unknowingly and you have no other option, you may pay it while repenting to Allah, and Allah Azza wa Jal is the most forgiving. Her second question was about niqab. What is the ruling on niqab? It's an issue of dispute among scholars. The most authentic opinion is that a woman must cover her face. And she's entitled and allowed only to keep an opening for her eye, not to show her eyebrows and her forehead and part of her nose and her cheek like some of our women do, unfortunately. This is totally prohibited. This is not niqab. This is more of a fitna than of protecting the society and the girl herself. So niqab is a must. It protects the woman's identity. It protects the woman from people molesting her or harassing her. And it gives her confidence in herself. A woman, when she exposes her face, the face is the most beautiful thing in a woman. If they tell you that, listen, we found a nice woman for you to marry, she has the body of Miss Universe, but the face of a gorilla, would anybody take her? Definitely not. But if they told you that she has this beautiful face, that when you wake up and look at that face, you feel that the whole world is in your hand, and then you may reconsider even if she has the size of an elephant, because the face is where the beauty is all about, and this is the most authentic opinion. Okay, Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes, thank you, Jazakallah khair, for making dua for me in your last episode. May Allah grant you with great honor and happiness in both worlds.
Ameen, and you as well, and all our listeners. Yes, my friend, what can I do for you?
I have 3 questions. The first question is there more reward for sending salutations on the Prophet ﷺ on Friday than on another day, any other day? Second question, which salutation has more reward? The one, as-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah, or Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, the one which we say in the salat, in the tashahhud al-akhir.
Okay. Third question.
And the third question is, There are people in India and Pakistan who hold gatherings in Rabiul Awwal month in honor of the Prophet ﷺ's hair. They claim that the hair of the Prophet ﷺ gives barakah. So they meet and send salam on the Prophet ﷺ. Is this correct
Okay.
or not?
Muhammad, you're referring to Al-Mawlid, right?
Yes?
You're referring to the birthday of the Prophet, Al-Mawlid.
No, not the Mawlid. In India and Pakistan, the whole gatherings in Rabiul Awwal in the honor for the hair of the Prophet ﷺ.
For the hair, okay.
They claim that the hair gives barakah.
Okay.
So they meet and send salam on the Prophet.
I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakallah khair, my friend. Fatima from Saudi. Fatima. Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, Alhamdulillah, I reverted to Islam 3 years ago now. When I reverted, I was in my last year of university in the UK. So, of course, my loan was full of riba. So I'm just wondering now, do I have to pay for the full 3 years? Or do I just have to pay for the year that when I became Muslim?
Okay, I will answer your question.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Abdul Karim from... Okay, Amina, once again. Amina?
Yes.
You're from?
Huda.
Okay, yes, what can I do from you, Amina?
Yeah, my questions are, I have one question particularly, that the expatriates' wives in the kingdom cannot work legally if they're under their husband's sponsorship, or they have, they're under another sponsorship. For example, they have a job, for example, in the university, and they are here legally under their sponsorship. Can they work in both the cases, whether they're under their husband's ikama or another workplace? Can they work in any other places?
Okay.
Will the earning be halal?
Okay, I understand. Any more questions?
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sharfiz Khan?
That's right, Dr. Khan, no problem.
Yes, Dr. Khan. What can I do for you?
Thank you so much.
Yes, my friend. What can I do for you?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm
Actually,
fine.
I'm following up your programs, alhamdulillah, and a lot of benefits from the program, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Ameen.
There is one confusion actually with us.
Yes.
Regarding Ruqya. With Dr. Salah, we heard that if you don't do Ruqya, there is a definite hadith which says that there will be like 10,000 people on Yawm al-Akhirah.
70,000.
These people are this will be those people who have never done Ruqya in life, and these are the people, inshallah, will go to Jannah without hisab.
Okay.
And then there is actually, with this hadith in mind, whether we should do Ruqya, because there is definite evidence that Ruqya is supposed to heal the problems which we are facing in this life.
Okay.
So whether we should go for Ruqya, or we just keep our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with respect to this hadith, and just wait for the year after for our decisions.
Okay, I will answer your
Thank
question,
you,
inshallah. You're welcome, inshallah. Dr. Shabir from Medina?
Yeah, Medina.
Yes, doctor. What can I do for you?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. I have 3 questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to know what is the significance of political Islam in the light of Quran and Sunnah?
The significance of what?
Political Islam.
Political Islam. Okay.
Yeah, political Islam. Yeah.
Okay. Second.
Are Muslim countries supposed to boycott and not to have relations with Israel?
Okay.
And my third question is, you must be knowing this man by name Harun Yahya from Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
He has written quite a number of books on Islam, comparing, proving Quran in the light of science.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is lately I have come across some exposure about him, like his beliefs contradict most of the things in the Quran and Sunnah. But he has written quite a number of books which are presented very nicely. So is it okay, suppose if I recommend someone, a non-Muslim, to read his books to know more about Islam, or I should not recommend this?
Okay.
Because I have come to know his beliefs are, he's a bit modern, he has some modern thoughts about.
I will answer the
don't
question,
know how
inshallah. I will answer the question, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, my friend. Wajazak. Ahmed from Saudi. I hope we have time to answer this. I hope we have time to answer this. Huh? Muhammad from Saudi.
Yes, yes.
Yes, what's your question, Akhi?
My question is there, for the reading Quran, or start reading the Quran, is any type of things are there, like when I am from the Indian continental, and whenever the people lift their Quran, they will kiss it and put it. And the second thing is there, when they read it, when the Sijda ayats are there, usually they hold it in hand and then do the Sijda. Is that correct? Or sometime, by incident, if somebody drop it, so what to do? What the things they have to do it?
Okay, I will answer the question.
When they finish the Quran, they usually blow the air on the chest. Is it correct, or what the way we have to do it?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we have a great deal of questions. Let's, inshallah, try to do 0 to 60 miles in less than 5 seconds. Abdul Karim had 4 questions. First of all, what's the ruling on praying voluntary prayer before Ihram? There is no voluntary prayer before Ihram. The Prophet used to do, alayhi salam, his Ihram after a prayer, not a specific prayer. So if he prayed Asr, he would make his Ihram afterwards. After finishing praying Asr, he says, Allah baik Allahumma umrah. If he prayed Dhuhr and then he prayed 2 rak'ahs of Sunnah of Dhuhr and he makes his Ihram, no problem. So if you have a legitimate prayer to pray, yes, do your Ihram after such a prayer. But to specifically pray a prayer for your Ihram, this is not part of the Sunnah. When do we make our intention of Umrah? When you reach the miqat. So once you reach the miqat, before passing the miqat, you say labbaik Allahumma umrah. If you're in Jeddah, your miqat is the vicinity of Jeddah itself. So before you go to the ring road, which is called the Rihaili, for example, this is a landmark where people know that they're out of Jeddah skirts, the outskirts of Jeddah. Then you say before that, labbaik Allahumma umrah, and the best to do it is from your home if you wish. She says, the Salat al-Ibrahimiyya, before and after? And the answer is yes, this is the Sunnah. The Prophet said, any dua, any invocation that does not have salutation on me is blocked between the heavens and the earth. Allah would not accept it. So general du'as that do not have a specific hadith for them, you have to say, Alhamdulillah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, or you say the full thing. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. And then you make your dua in the beginning. In the end, if you want to conclude it with it again, this is okay. But in the beginning is sufficient. Making dua in qunut, Allahumma hadina fi man hadayt. Afterwards, she would like to make dua in her own native language. There's no problem in that, insha'Allah. Muhammad from Saudi, he says that our young scholar, insha'Allah, and I hope by now he has memorized a great portion of the Quran. If not, he should start, inshallah, and he should also start learning Arabic so that he could speak like a native and understand the Quran like a native. Our friend says that, is it more rewardable to offer salat and salutation to the Prophet ﷺ on Friday than the other 6 days of the week? And the answer is yes. The Prophet said, ﷺ, on the night of Friday and on the day of Friday, offer as many salutations to me as possible because they will be displayed in front of me. And in another hadith, Allah has appointed an angel, and the angel would relay this to the Prophet ﷺ and tell him that someone has offered salam to you, and the Prophet would answer back to the salam in a way that we do not understand and we do not comprehend. So yes, Friday has a definite plus to other days. Which salutation is better? Is it sufficient to say Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad? It is sufficient. But it is a higher and a better grade to say the Ibrahimi salah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka hamidun majid. And Ibn al-Qayyim had mentioned this in his book. And he says that in Rabi' al-Awwal, in the subcontinent, some Muslims, they celebrate and they claim to have pieces of the Prophet's hair, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we know that the Prophet's hair is something to seek blessings from. The only person on earth that you can seek blessings from his sweat, from his clothes, from his plates and utensils, from the things that he used is the Prophet ﷺ. He's the only one. And this was proven at his time and he acknowledged that. However, after his death, no one can claim and prove that these things are attributed to him. So if you go to Topkapi in Turkey, in Istanbul, you will find that this is the sword of the Prophet, this is the helmet, this is the shoe, this is the... All of this is not authentic and it is not real. Anyone could lie, and we've seen so many liars saying that these are belongings of the Prophet ﷺ, then sell it for so much money, and they are lying. So this is all an innovation. Fatima, she says that she's a new Muslim, alhamdulillah. She accepted Islam recently, and she was in the last year of university and she took a student loan. So she's asking, should I pay for the previous 3 years or only for this last year? Well, UK loans are different than other loans. So I think they have to have an income of less than £20,000 a year or something similar to that. So if you're a housewife and you are not going to work at all, so there is no way for them to claim that loan. And I think after 25 years, it's dropped automatically. And you know that you're not going to work and you know that you're not going to have any income. If you can give them the capital which you took, the loan, which is £9,000 multiplied by 3, £27,000. If you can give them the 27,000 which you took, and without any questions asked and no interest occurring on that, this is good. If not, if they say, no, you have to pay it all or leave it as it is all, I believe that you can leave it as long as you're not going to work. If you're going to work, then you have to pay it off so that you would prevent interest from still reoccurring on it again. Amina from Saudi says that it's a situation in Saudi Arabia when a wife comes to stay with her husband who works in the country, and on her visa or on her iqama residency permit, it says that she's not entitled to work. So she says, can I work? The answer would be a little bit touchy, because we are ordered to obey the rulers, the Muslim rulers, as long as they did not prevent us from something that is our legitimate right, and they did not order us to do something that is haram. So if they tell us when it's red, you have to stop. When it's green, you have to drive. No one will say, Ya akhi, where is this in the Quran? Give me an authentic hadith. Who's from the Salaf spoke about this? This is nonsense. This is part of the Quran. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَلِأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ. Allah has ordered us to obey Allah and the Prophet ﷺ and the rulers among us. So we have to obey them. However, if it's something that it is not so big and great, meaning you don't go to an institution and work, this is illegal. If they catch you, they'll deport you. But if it's something in your home, if you're getting students and you're teaching them and giving them private lessons or doing something on the internet, this is, inshallah, permissible, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. And this goes for your husband as well. If you're teaching in a university and your husband is your mahram, he's also forbidden from working. Dr. Khan says he has a confusion regarding the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. First of all, dear Dr. Khan and all viewers, it is inappropriate when you come and say, Muhammad Salah says so-and-so. What do you think? I would not answer the question, because this would be inappropriate for me to comment on a sheikh's fatwa or opinion which I did not hear. And as long as he said it, you either take it or reject it. But you don't ask me, and then I would say, no, Muhammad Salah, what does he know? Or, yes, this is inappropriate, it's impolite, and this is not my way, this is the way of the Salaf. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on his soul, he would always do this. When someone says, Shaykh so-and-so said so-and-so, what do you think? He said, I'm not going to answer this question. This is impolite. But your question does not have anything to do with this, alhamdulillah, and therefore I'm going to answer you. The hadith says that you do not go and ask people to give ruqyah. I feel a bit sick. Oh, Brother Ali, come and give me ruqyah. I have pain in my stomach. So I'm asking him to do ruqyah for me, which is something between a person and Allah. He's doing supplications, reciting the Quran, giving hadith, etc. This would prevent me from being among the 70,000 of this nation who would enter Jannah without any accountability or punishment. This is a privilege. This is a plus. It's a first class. It's the elite, where Allah Azza wa Jal treat these people with His generosity and mercy. This is different from me being sick, and then I say, why don't I give ruqyah to myself? This is totally permissible and has nothing to do with the hadith. So I do ruqyah on myself and I drink the water. Or I'm sick and my friend or my wife or my son comes in and sees me and he puts his hand on my head, or he just says the ruqyah without asking me and he gives me ruqyah. Again, there's no problem. You're still among the 70,000 people, those who do not believe in bad omen, they do not ask people to do ruqyah, those people who do not cauterize, and on Allah Azza wa Jal they have their full trust. So I hope this answers your question. Dr. Shubair says, what is the significance of political Islam? We don't have something as such. Islam is a full package, but we don't have something that says, because it's political Islam, because you want khilafah, you may lie and you may cheat people and you may stab people in the back, at the back. This is un-Islamic. It has nothing to do with Islam. Islam is a full package. So a Muslim politician is like an imam, is like a person who does jihad, is like a teacher. They have the same Islam. And what is the ruling on Arab countries boycotting Israel? Israel is the enemy of Islam. It is an occupying state. It's a cancer in the Muslim world. They have taken the land that was for the Muslims and to the Muslims, and they have abducted the people, imprisoned them, kicked them out of their houses, they're confiscating their lands, and nobody's speaking. So they're a spoiled child, the illegitimate child of USA. I don't know about the father, but I know the mother is the USA. We have to boycott it. There are enemies. The rules of engagement between Muslims and their enemies, like Israelis, is clear and black and white in the books. So definitely they have to boycott them, they have to fight them, they have to do all what they can to get them out of their country. And their claim that the land is mine, God give this land to me, as they sing, this is a false claim. It's like the Red Indians nowadays coming in America and saying, listen, the white man took our land, so we're claiming it back. And they blow places up and they kill people and they want to rule the country. Would anybody say, yes, it's a legitimate right? This is nonsense. So yes, we have to boycott them and we have to stand firm. But unfortunately, again, political Islam. We don't have real Muslims to stand up and speak the truth without engaging in meetings behind closed doors and being like hypocrites. His third question about Harun Yahya. I don't know the gentleman. I have never read his books. I saw 1 or 2 documentaries with lots of remarks on them. And I've heard that people talk about his aqeedah and that he's materialistic. This is what he believes in and is too modern. He's not a scholar of Islam. And there are so many like him. So would I ask a new Muslim, a revert, to read his books, or should I give it to disbelievers? If the books contain like 99% of good and 1% of evil, and there's nothing on the shelves or in the market that is equivalent in its influence, then it is permissible. Otherwise, no, you should give them what is much trustworthy, because this is the foundation that they will grow on, inshallah. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia is asking, when we want to begin reciting the Quran, are there any etiquettes? The answer is no. The etiquette is that you are in the state of wudu, you face the Kaaba, the Qibla if you can, and you say, like Allah said, whenever you want to read the Quran, seek refuge in Allah from shaitan. You say, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. Nothing else. So what about kissing the Quran? This is not part of the Sunnah. It was never reported that any of the companions had done it, or the Prophet ﷺ had done it. Now people nowadays, when they drop the Quran, they lift it up and say, Astaghfirullah, they kiss it, and the beautiful thing is that they kiss it and they put it on their forehead as if they are performing prostration. They call it the miner's prostration. And not only that, I've seen people picking pieces of dry bread on the street, kissing it and putting it on the forehead 3 times, and they put it on a high wall. If they saw a 500 riyal bill, they will kiss it and put it, I will kiss it definitely, if it's not mine. They would kiss it and put it on foreheads 3 times. What are you doing? So this is ni'mah, this is blessing from Allah. No, it is, but what you're doing is an innovation. It's something that the Prophet did not do, alayhi salatu wasalam. So you should try your level best not to do that. What about after finishing reciting the Quran, you open your shirt and you just blow in it, or you kiss your fingers and wipe? All of these are innovations and have no relationship to Islam. Salah from Sudan, again.
I am sorry for asking for the second time.
No problem. What's your question?
I went to explain to you the obstacles and the problem facing me when I was praying and finding the job or going to the job.
Okay, Akhi, I suggest that you send me an email, because it's going to take too long, and I think I have less than 30 seconds to conclude. So send me an email. Okay, you'll find my email, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Akhi. Okay, Abdul Fattah Osman says, if someone was disobedient to Allah Azza wa Jal, now will it become easier for him to fight shaitan after he repents as time goes by? Because he is struggling a lot. When someone was indulging sin and Allah guides him to repent, he, in the first 3 or 4 months, feels like the world is in his hands. He's so happy, so content. He feels his chest is full of light and happiness until he is content with it. Then shaitan begins his whispering. So he gives him a lot of whispering. He makes life difficult for him when he wants to make wudu, when he prays, when he fasts. He makes life difficult to him when he remembers the beautiful movies and songs and the things he used to do. Calls from his friends telling him, we're hanging out at this place, come and join us, do this. And he feels like torn between 2 lovers. He wants to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, but the temptation of shaitan is so strong. And he's struggling, and this happens to everybody, akhi. Yani, the good news is, it happens with everybody. But now you're at the fork of the road. One says, akhi, I've never struggled like this when I was sinful. I used to pray off and on, but I'd never had these doubts and whispers of shaitan. I said, yes, because now you're getting closer to Allah, and you're about to set your things and home in paradise, and he doesn't want that. He wants you to be with him. So he's trying to make it difficult. The more you fight it, the more he will increase in his whisper. The more you fight it, the more he increases in his whisper, until you reach a level where it is not feasible anymore for him. You are doing so many good things and many good deeds that he's unable to catch up. So it goes down immediately. And he tells his soldiers, give him like 6 or 8 months, and then start and try again. So you keep on fighting, and Allah Azza wa Jal would keep on making you steadfast and reward you. Madhar is asking, how does a translator decide which meaning of Arabic words to choose while translating words of the Holy Quran? This is something that a translator who is well equipped in Arabic and English, and who's well equipped in the tafsir. Otherwise, he would not be able to just pick and choose, I like this word. No, he has to base his translation on knowledge. And Mu'mina says that she works in a school, and when she teaches aspects of the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, they give plays. So children, they teach them about how Archangel Jibril came to Muhammad ﷺ in the cave, and he said, recite, and he shook him. So after they gave this lesson, two children come, one performs as if he's Muhammad ﷺ, and the other performs as if he's the Archangel Jibril. Is this permissible? The answer is totally prohibited. This is completely out of the question. Not even the companions, they're allowed to role play this, even for a good cause. It is totally prohibited, and you have to prevent this. And finally, Ibrahim says, there's a restaurant near me which owned by Arab Christians, and when I ask them if the meat is halal, they say, yes, it is halal except to this sandwich. So can I eat there? And the answer is yes. As long as they're Christians and they claim that the food is halal, you believe them and eat from that, and there's no problem for you, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. And with this we conclude our segment of Ask Huda. I will not be on air for the next 4 weeks, inshaAllah, due to traveling. So inshaAllah, you can remain in contact with me through posting your questions on my website and through Facebook and Twitter. And until we meet you next time, fi amanillah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance.